learning the name of the officer accused of shooting and killing an Oregon man. The newest details in that case.
Plus, jackpot, where the Powerball now sits this morning after another drawing without a winner.
And a chilly morning meets a mild day. We'll be planning out your Tuesday coming up.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to News 3 Now this morning on a Tuesday morning, November 1st. I'm Josh Breiter.
And I'm Leah Lynchine. Chris Stanford has the day off. He's enjoying some balmy weather out there.
A nice day to take off. I'm sure he had a great time with the kids last night trick-or-treating.
What perfect weather.
What a perfect day. It made me think of the difference between yesterday and 3 years ago, and we had like 7 inches of snow on the ground. Just a little different. It just goes to show how different Wisconsin can be depending on the year.
That was a record. Are we hitting records with these 70s or not necessarily?
We're not hitting records. The records are still like in the 80s.
Whoa.
Way set back way into like the 1900s.
Dream big, baby.
For us, they're not records, but they're still unseasonable. Because around this time of year, we're still supposed to be within the 50s, and our overnights are supposed to be, well, kind of what we're feeling as we're waking up this morning. It's a chilly morning. You're going to need the light jacket, but you're not going to need it by the time we get into the afternoon. But let's take a look at what temperatures are like when you're heading out the door. 35 degrees here in Madison, with 36 in Janesville, and around 40 degrees over towards Platteville. So still bouncing back and forth between the mid to lower 30s and the upper 40s, or lower 40s, excuse me, for many of us here in southern Wisconsin as we're starting off our Tuesday morning. But planning out the course of the day, that's right, we're still not going to be seeing the sunrise for about another hour or so, but as we take a look through how the rest of it, well, by the time we get into our afternoon, temperatures are going to be into the 60s, and we're going to top out looking at around 70 degrees for us here in Madison. Some areas even into the middle 70s, like Lone Rock, looking at 74 degrees for us, 69 in for Janesville and for Platteville. It is going to be another mild day for us, and this is just going to be another start of a trifecta of what we're going to be looking at. And that's why we got to ask the question, how long are we going to be mild for? But before we start to see some real fall-like weather. But we'll have the answer for that coming up in a few moments. Until then, let's toss it back to you guys.
Okay, Julian Seawright, thank you very much. We appreciate it. To breaking news now as we take a live look at downtown Madison. We're learning more about the man seen on State Street wearing a Hitler costume over the weekend.
His employer now speaking out. Shane Hogan is here with those new details this morning. Hi, Shane.
Hey, good morning, Josh. The Madison Children's Museum is responding to the costume this morning, saying that man is one of their employees. They're out with a statement on that Hitler costume breaking overnight. It reads in part, quote, "This is completely unacceptable and runs counter to everything the museum believes. He has been suspended while we investigate." The statement goes on to say, quote, "This employee has cognitive disabilities due to a traumatic brain injury. His work with the museum over the past 10 years has been closely supervised, coached, and supported. It is our understanding that he believed his costume to be mocking Hitler," end quote. The Madison Police Department was also made aware of the situation on Saturday night, and while they said the display of the costume was offensive and reprehensible, it did not rise to a criminal act.
Some important context here. Shane Hogan, thank you very much. UW-Madison also sounding off on the costume. It says, quote, "It stands against anti-Semitism and all forms of discrimination." It also noted this case took place off campus and did not involve anyone affiliated with UW. This is a story we continue to follow this week as we learn more about the Children's Museum, how it will respond, and what others in the community have to say about it. We'll push those updates through our Channel 3000 mobile app. 6:03 now. New court records involving the teenager accused of stabbing a 17-year-old girl and then using his car to run her over.
Those court records show he was able to post bond in the last 24 hours. Police arrested 17-year-old Dylan Lenz 2 weeks ago in Beaver Dam. He told police he choked the girl in the backseat of his car before using a box cutter to stab her in the arm while in the Walmart parking lot. When asked why he did it, he reportedly told investigators he was having, quote, "really bad thoughts." Lenz faces a felony attempted first-degree intentional homicide charge. He'll be in court for a preliminary hearing on November 17th.
An update now on a shooting from Oregon. The Division of Criminal Investigation naming the Dane County deputy who shot and killed a man last week. Detective Clint Seltzner has been placed on administrative leave per department policy. Deputies were searching for 21-year-old Jose Jimenez, wanted for a weapons violation. Detective Seltzner shot him, that gunshot wound ultimately proving to be fatal. Officials have not yet said what exactly led to the officer firing his gun, though they did say Jimenez tried to run from the scene.
New this morning at 6:04, the Powerball now moves up to $1.2 billion after another drawing without a winner last night. The drawing would have been the second biggest Powerball winning ever and top 5 for overall lottery winnings. Now the attention will turn to tomorrow's drawing, where you have a 1 in 292 million chance to win the whole jackpot. Again, you do have time before tomorrow's drawing, but you have to buy those tickets before 9 p.m. to be included in that day's drawing. Well, we are just a week away from Election Day, and the candidates for State Attorney General are touring the state of Wisconsin this week.
Democratic incumbent Josh Kaul campaigning in Wausau. He was alongside the mayor and the Portage County District Attorney yesterday. He touted some of the key accomplishments during his time as AG, also asking the legislature to send more money to local governments.
It's so vital that we do that because it's our local governments that fund local law enforcement. It's our local governments that fund other critical local services. This is the way that we can get the resources we need to get to our communities to keep our communities safe and to make them safer where we need to do that.
Running against Kaul is Fond du Lac District Attorney Eric Toney. He held his own news conference in Madison yesterday afternoon, criticizing Kaul for the vacancies in the Department of Justice.
Well, if you talk to any police chief or sheriff, just about every single police agency in Wisconsin does it differently. When they get a vacancy, they start to immediately fill those positions. That's what I will do as Attorney General.
Toney said a consequence of those unfilled positions is that Kaul isn't prioritizing public safety. The town of Madison no longer exists. That means people who once lived there suddenly live in a new city without having to move an inch.
Our Andrew Banser explains what differences those people will see and what they need to know this morning.
After years of planning and preparations, overnight, the city of Madison welcomed 5,000 new people from the now defunct town of Madison. But as much will change, some already has.
Building inspection, the fire department, and EMS since November 2020. So those services have been provided 2 years ago. The police department started to provide service about a week ago.
Plans to absorb the new town into Madison and Fitchburg go back nearly 2 decades. But with a big election in less than 2 weeks, where to vote is more important to those new residents.
A big number of residents voted at the town hall facility. And as I said, that's not a polling place anymore. So I would suggest that every single resident from the town checks the website.
But new and expanded services won't just come as a free perk for people transitioning to a new city. In Madison, they'll almost certainly need to pay more for them.
But we know that most likely taxes will increase, mainly because the services that the city of Madison provides are more robust and comprehensive compared to the town.
Madison and Fitchburg aren't just gaining more people, but a more diverse population as well, given the former town of Madison's makeup.
Very diverse population compared to the city of Madison as a whole. So we have about 27% of the town of Madison residents are Latinx or Hispanics, compared to the city, which is no more than 8%, right? African Americans make up to 13% of the town of Madison population.
It's a lot to process, but some big changes that city leaders in both communities assure are well thought out.
Between the city of Fitchburg, the city of Madison, the town of Madison, there is a lot of logistics and work behind the scenes. So we have pretty much all city agencies working together collaboratively to make sure that the transition is smooth.
That was Andrew Banser reporting. The city of Madison is absorbing 90% of the remaining town of Madison land and 79% of the town's population of about 6,000 people. The rest of the town will be attached to the city of Fitchburg. Right now, time is 6:08. A new month means it's time to look back at some of the fall fun from October in the 608.
Can't legislate a broken child or a broken man.
And later, where the issue of gun violence falls on the list of priorities for voters this election season.
Hy-Vee Red Hot deals are super hot this Monday through Thursday. Doritos, only $1.88. Basket and bushel raspberries, only 99 cents. And Sara Lee whole grain white bread, only 99 cents. Scan the code, get deals. Only at Hy-Vee.
For Clinton and Anderson, our community is his top priority. He's delivered for middle-class families on the Beloit City Council, and he'll keep fighting to lower costs for us in the Assembly. Jeff Klett's priorities are all wrong. He supports dismantling our public schools, wants to slash community services to give tax breaks to his billionaire backers, and he'll vote with extreme Republicans to enforce Wisconsin's abortion ban, which could send doctors to prison. We can't afford Jeff Klett.
If you overdraw your account, Wells Fargo gives you an extra day grace period to avoid the overdraft fee. What if everything came with a grace period? Like accidentally parking where you shouldn't.
Hey, what about this one? Nah, that one gets an extra day. Somebody got lucky.
Like having an extra day grace period? When it comes to overdrafts, you can with Wells Fargo.
That was quick. And rewarding. I earned 3% cash back at drugstores with Chase Freedom Unlimited. That means I earn on my bug spray and my sunscreen. You ready to go fishing? I got the bait. I also earned 5% on travel purchased through Chase on this rental car. That lake is calling my name.
Don't you get seasick?
We'll find out. Come on. And I earned 3% on dining, including takeout.
So much for catching our dinner.
Some people are hunters, some are gatherers. I'm a diner.
Earn big time with Chase Freedom Unlimited with no annual fee. How do you cash back? Chase, make more of what's yours.
Wisconsin is a home of workers. We know what needs to get done, and we do it. Yet, we've been hit hard, some harder than others. Our contact may be limited, but we still can lift each other up. The Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy providers are working together to help keep your heat and power on. You may not ask for it, but we want you to know we're here.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
Hy-Vee Red Hot deals are super hot this Monday through Thursday. Fresh chicken breasts, only $1.99 a pound. Red Baron pizza, only $1.99. And It's Your Churn or Till the Cows Come Home ice cream, only $2.48. Scan the code, get deals, only at Hy-Vee.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning.
Welcome back. 6:12 on a Tuesday morning. We've reached a new month in the 608. So that means it is time this morning to take a look at some of the inspiration October brought us on News 3 Now this morning. We're getting ready to set the stage here for our Coats for Kids Distribution Day in the 608.
This is a great program that they had, and it's something great for the students. It's really embraced. The students thrive with it, and it's just something that I think is really important for our school district to continue, and I really wanted to make sure that our students had this opportunity.
I got my little umbrella here, too. Although I don't think we have any rain in the forecast today.
We better not.
Look at this.
Right?
We're going to take a selfie live on News 3 Now this morning. Let's make a difference here in the 608.
Now we know that mental health is a big issue, especially after the pandemic, and nature is a good solution for that.
We're going to let Mark come in here because I already feel like the Marshmallow Man this morning.
Josh, I think you're going to have a little sugar crash later. Might need some coffee. Mark's enjoying the marshmallows,
I most certainly am. Mark deserves that because he's been out here the last 2 hours tending to this fire, making sure that it was good for TV. Freezing cold and super windy. It took us all night. Photographer Mark Schilling out here with the 2 pieces of wood to get this fire started. We actually did bring some other tools to help us out with this, too. This nice little torch. I made a new friend here on News 3 Now this morning. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
JoJo, shake your tail feathers.
Good job. All right, beautiful job, my
JoJo's got some moves.
Yes, she.
Shake your tail feather.
I loved JoJo.
Oh my
And I loved the little baby dinosaur.
Weren't they just adorable? Yeah. I know that was a hit. We had a couple of our colleagues that checked that out over the weekend. So that's what we're all about here, is finding stuff that is happening right here locally. We love to see that stuff.
I bet so many families saw that and thought, hey, I'm going to go to the Alliant Energy Center this weekend.
I was like geeking out, and then I went home and watched Jurassic World later that day.
You told me that.
Yeah, I was super excited about that, so I love it. Hey, remember, we are your home for stories here in the 608. You can go to channel3000.com for an interactive map, and I'm always looking for story ideas, so please find me on social media. There's my handle at JoshBriderTV. You can also email in the 608 at WISC-TV.com for a chance to be featured. Of course, we're getting into the holiday season here, so we've got a lot of fun to come in the next couple of months.
All right, at 6:14, happening tomorrow, the Wisconsin Union taking orders for Thanksgiving to-go meals. You can order the meal as a personal or a family size, which includes entrees, sides, and desserts. The personal meal will cost you $16. The family meal is $150. You have until November 16th to order. Pickup is on November 23rd. That's the day before Thanksgiving. If you'd like to take a look at the options, you can order. The link to that list is up on channel3000.com.
6:15 right now. Let's get the Julian Seawright and your certified most accurate forecast. Hi, Julian.
And the mild trend is going to continue for us as we get into our Tuesday. We're looking at plenty of sunshine and temperatures that are going to be in the 70s by the time we get into our afternoon. Though it's going to be chilly to start for us, we're still looking at high pressure to really dominate much of the upper Midwest. And the Midwest in itself, it's going to be leading to nice, dry, and pleasant conditions for us. Now let's walk through what to expect for our Tuesday and plan it out for us. As you're heading out the door, you're going to need the light jacket. It's going to be in the 30s, some areas into the lower 40s, but by the time we get into late morning and into our early afternoon, we're going to see the temperatures already into the lower 60s, especially for us here in Madison and for Janesville and Platteville as well, as we're going to see around 62 degrees for us by the time it's lunchtime. Heading into our late afternoon, that's where we're seeing those lower 70s rolling in for us. Still, plenty of sunshine. Winds will start to pick up just a bit thanks to the southerly winds and that flow. We're going to be looking at temperatures to be rather mild and unseasonable for this time of year and maintain that throughout the course of our early evening hours. Now, as we transition into Wednesday, overnight, we're going to see temperatures drop into the mid-40s for us here in Madison and throughout much of southern Wisconsin, but it's going to be another clear night for us. And as you're heading out the door, it's not going to be nearly as chilly as it was for our Tuesday. Getting into our Wednesday afternoon, more breezy conditions coming in from the south, going to be bolstering our temperatures once again into the lower 70s by the time we get into our late afternoon hours. So we're still going to be looking at a mild trend, not just for today, but going into our tomorrow and Thursday as well. But we are going to be watching for developments of some showers and potentially even some thunderstorms coming into our Friday, and that could also lead into our Saturday as well, bringing in potentials of some washouts for us here in southern Wisconsin, especially throughout our Saturday morning and going into our Saturday evening. Now, as we take a look at what we could see potentially with rainfall, areas especially just west of Dane County could see the most significant impacts of rain, but even for us, we could see a quarter, half of an inch, and for some areas that could see those thunderstorms even more. So the three things we'll need to know, it's going to be 70s through Thursday. We're looking at our next rain events to start around Thursday night to at least develop, and then Friday, we're looking at a few thunderstorms to be possible for us, and on top of it, we're going to start our trend of cooling down, and that's where we're going to see the 60s return to the forecast heading into the weekend. Still not going to be too bad in terms of surface temperatures, but we are going to be looking to need that rain gear on standby for us as we're going to be looking at showers and thunderstorms, guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. Wisconsin football is back after a much-needed week off, now hosting Maryland this week at Camp Randall. The bye week allowed Keanu Benton to go walleye fishing. Jake Chaney got to pick apples at an apple orchard for the first time in his life, but most importantly, the Badgers got healthy. For the first time since week 1, Hunter Wohler is expected to play. His presence at practice, along with a handful of others back from injuries, has energized UW.
Just the fact that we think that a number of guys can be available that have not been in really a big capacity in a while. That's exciting here for this last stretch of the season.
I mean, it was huge. You know, I kind of got to steal 2 weeks. You know, kind of that Purdue week and the bye week. It was huge for my body, not just my knee, so everything in general. You know, just letting my body kind of relax, recuperate.
Don't forget to tune in to Badger Blueprint tomorrow night at 10. News Now Sports Director Zach Hanley will talk about the team's focus coming off the bye week as they get ready to host Maryland on Saturday.
With 1 week until Election Day, gun safety groups are stepping up efforts to invest in candidates who are pushing for tougher gun laws. This year, around 200 volunteers ran for office in federal, state, and local races. The trend comes as gun violence and crime have emerged as top issues on voters' minds. These volunteers are seeking to address the root causes of gun violence and create a different kind of change.
It's not a problem of a gun, it's the mentality of people nowadays. Why are y'all young people so broken?
I don't think it's the legislation, because I think there's plenty of gun laws already. They just need to be effective.
Gun violence is up nationwide. There have been 35,000 deaths in the U.S. so far this year, following 45,000 deaths in all of 2020. About 79% of the killings that year involved a firearm. That's the highest percentage since at least 1968.
New this morning, we're getting a look at the world's longest passenger train. Take a look at this. This Swiss railway broke the record, nearly 1.2 miles long. The train runs through the Swiss Alps at a speed of up to 21.7 miles per hour. The train needs 7 drivers and 21 technicians to operate. The event marks the 175th anniversary of Swiss Railways.
And it may be November 1st, but NASA is still celebrating Halloween. They released this image of the sun that looks a little bit like a jack-o'-lantern. Can you see the smiley face here? It shows what are actually splotches on the sun's surface that are cooler than the surrounding areas. Twitter also has an opinion on the picture. Lots of users comparing it to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters, or maybe a lion or a blobfish, if you can see that.
All good answers.
I like this. Look at that little smiley face.
It does look like a jack-o'-lantern. Are you good at pumpkin carving?
No.
Me neither.
I don't, not to be, pathetic, but I don't really like to do it. The guts are kind of gross.
Yeah, I didn't get around to doing it. Usually I do it every year. I didn't do it this year, and now it's too late because you know it starts today.
Christmas season.
And with that, coming up next, we're going to show you who's probably most excited about it being November 1st, and no, it is not me.
And ahead in our next half hour, we're helping you check your ballot and make an informed decision ahead of Election Day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This portion of News 3 Now is sponsored by Shopco Optical.
Cobuson Buses, now hiring.
My name is Mike Williams. I've been driving school bus off and on for 21 years. Here at our terminal, we're kind of like a family too. Somebody has an issue with a bus, other people kick in and help and get the job done.
A 12-year-old girl can't legally drive a car. At 12, she can't even vote. But if this little girl were tragically raped or a victim of incest and became pregnant, Radical Tim Michaels would force her to deliver the baby. He said it's, quote, not unreasonable for the state government to mandate rape victims to give birth. Would it be unreasonable if he were forcing this on you? Let him know on Election Day.
Here at Precision, we are veteran-owned, and we take pride in servicing not only our community, but serving our country as well. No job is too big and no job is too small. Here at Precision, we'll fix them all.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
There will always be bumps in the road, but we got guts, America. We got freedom. We got power. We got future. So let's drive on and make the future we want to see together. Because your new Ford vehicle is just the start of a journey. So stop by your Ford dealer today and claim one of the thousands of new Ford trucks and SUVs on their way. We've been building this country for 119 years, but we're just getting started.
Keep bragging about your buck after the hunt with wild game processing from Johnson's Sausage Shop in Ryle, Wisconsin. Friends enjoy a hunting story more over a jalapeno cheddar stick. Johnson's Sausage Shop accepts wild game 7 days a week. First bucks in are the first brats out.
DePaco Credit Union members are better together because together members share thank yous, a DePaco-only perk that thanks members in cash. And because you're not just a member, you're also an owner, everyone benefits. How will this year's nearly $3.7 million in thank yous benefit you and your community? Since 2016, DePaco members have shared nearly $24.4 million. We truly are better together. Join the movement where your member ownership pays. Visit your nearest DePaco branch or join online at depaco.com.
Oh, great. My wireless bill just went up.
Should have gone with US Cellular. They aren't raising prices on any of their plans.
Seriously?
Yeah, my price won't increase.
Well, that is refreshing. I feel like everywhere you turn these days, prices are going up.
Supply chain got us too. Don't get me started on the overhead costs.
At US Cellular, every plan for everyone is price protected.
You know, I respect a female entrepreneur.
US Cellular, where every plan is price protected.
Cobeson Buses, now hiring.
Working with Cobeson, it's definitely been great because of the flexibility. If you do need time off, they work around you. They definitely try to make it a company that's based for you.
Visit Cobeson.com to apply.
Welcome back. We always ask you to share your morning with us. KCG, a frequent flyer and somebody that always takes our breath away. Yet another stunner from Kevin.
So not only do you see the fall color in there, but just the tint, it just looks fall.
And the birch trees, the sort of spooky leafless birch trees to the left. I just love this picture.
I just love the reflection, honestly, from the lake. It's just beautiful.
Is there a little steam coming up there too, I think? Or is that just
looks like a little bit of advection fog just above it, or it could be the reflection.
Julian, the scientist, here to help us out. We
so much to see.
Yeah, KCG, thank you very much for that picture. Make sure you use that hashtag MyNews3Morning, specifically on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook is acting a little funky lately, so we've been asking folks to send in those emails to tips@channel3000.com.
Well, spooky season has come and gone, folks, and for some, the holiday season is officially here. Take a look at what happened overnight.
Only she could pull that off.
Mariah Carey, probably best known for her love of Christmas, tweeted out this video at midnight. It shows her quickly transforming from Halloween into all-out Christmas. I know this is a hot button issue in many households, but you do you. If you want to put your Christmas decorations up like me today, go ahead and do it.
She's riding a Peloton and then gets on a reindeer.
I know.
What's going on here?
This is one of my favorite things because she changes the video every year, and she always puts that video out overnight from, you know, October 31st into November 1st. So I know a lot of folks are excited about that today.
Do you just play her music over and over as you decorate?
I actually, because they play her songs so much, I'm not a huge fan of hers. I like some more of the traditional Christmas music, but I do kind of hold off for the Christmas music for a little bit later. But I like to start putting my decorations out right now.
That's fair. Yeah. What about you? Do you put up your decorations nice and early?
I haven't put up decorations in years.
Julian.
You need to change that.
Since I've moved from home, I haven't put up decorations at all.
We have to come over and help.
I was going to say, we're decorating Julian's house this
year. I know you have extras.
I have a lot. I have a lot.
Look forward to that.
Hey, it does not feel like Christmas out there today. It's gorgeous out.
Not at all, but it's going to be perfect to put up the decorations. 70s for the next few days, and as we head into the weekend, a little bit of a change with storms on the way.
6:26. We'll be right back after this, folks.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Your family's year-round comfort is our year-round commitment at RG Heating and Air Conditioning. We install quality Trane equipment and service all brands so your home's furnace and AC will perform their best year-round. RG Heating and AC.
He pushed tax loopholes benefiting himself. Send him back, and he'll make things worse. Ron Johnson would let Wisconsin ban abortion, even in cases of rape, and said if you don't like it, you can move. He voted to raise the retirement age and wants to end guaranteed spending on the Social Security you earned.
Social Security is a legal Ponzi scheme, but that's exactly what it is.
Ron Johnson, still making it harder on us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
As falling leaves give way to snow, Midwestern winters bring rough weather and high energy bills. Feldco's here to help with our biggest sale of the season. 50% off windows, no money down, and no interest until 2024. Winter's right around the corner, and the clock is ticking.
50% off windows ends soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
We make sit-down chicken, stand-up chicken, backyard chicken, oops chicken, lots of time chicken, no time chicken. If there's one thing we know, it's chicken, chicken, and chicken. More choices, more wow, more to love. Tyson.
This ring is a commitment. After we got married, I got very sick. He will come every day to help me walk again. And now I'm back. This is a reminder
that love endures all.
Express your extraordinary love. Jared, love brilliantly.
Pre-shop the big fall sale at Madison Lighting. Save on every light fixture, every brand, indoors and out. Plus, save on all their home decor. You'll love this. Madison Lighting, Watts Road, Madison.
trouble getting to the dentist?
I've had a lot of toothaches in the past. I've tried pain pills. They never did anything for me. Nothing works like this right here, Oragel. Just put it right up here and wiped out the pain.
Oragel, America's #1 toothache pain reliever.
Democrats defunded and dispirited our police, creating the worst crime wave in decades. Biden spent us into 40-year high inflation, drove gas prices to record levels, and opened our borders, causing a flood of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Mandela Barnes supports all the policies causing you and your family so much pain. He will rubber stamp their liberal agenda. Mandela Barnes sides with radical leftists, not with you.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
At RG Heating and Air Conditioning, our promise to you is 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Guaranteed service, repairs, and replacements. Installing quality Trane equipment. RG Heating and AC. We'll always treat you like family. Guaranteed.
Right now, a court ruling that impacts your absentee ballot, why you can no longer spoil yours.
Plus, 1 week out from the 2022 election, we're taking a look at some of the school referendums on the ballot, what it could mean for you.
And we have a chilly start, but we're tracking a mild finish. We'll be planning out your Tuesday coming up.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to News 3 Now this morning on this Tuesday, November 1st. I'm Josh Breiter.
And I'm Leah Lynchad. Chris Stanford has the morning off. We are talking about just gorgeous weather 2 days in a row. We're hitting 70s, and it's November 1st.
I know, it's so weird. Oh my gosh.
We're just like trying to like take it all in because you know that bottom's gonna drop out at some point.
The next thing you know, it's 30 degrees below zero.
Yeah, like next week.
Oh my gosh. But yes, let's go ahead and enjoy what we have as of right now. It's chilly to start, but as we've been talking about all morning long, don't worry about the start. We got to worry about how we finish. We're looking at 35 degrees here in Madison as we're waking up this morning, 36 in Janesville with 40 in Platteville. But how we're going to be looking later into the day, well, as the sun is slowly but surely going to start to roll its way up for us here in southern Wisconsin, we're looking at planning our day into the 60s by the time we get into the lunchtime hours. So it's already going to be ditching the light jacket for us by the time we get into around noon. And then heading into the rest of our afternoon, folks, upper 60s, lower 70s is going to be another fantastic day for us here in southern Wisconsin. Now, taking a look at today's highs in itself, we're looking at 70 degrees for us here in Madison. Yesterday, we had a high of 66, so we're just looking at improvements and stabilizing into the very mild weather. But for how long are we going to be seeing that mild weather? Well, that's something we're going to be talking about coming up in a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. To campaign 2022 now at 6:31. If you're planning to mail in your absentee ballot before next week's election, the U.S. Postal Service says today is the day that is recommended to meet that deadline and get it in the mailbox.
That's because it can take up to 7 days to arrive at your local clerk's office. The Wisconsin Elections Commission says they've already had more than 440,000 ballots returned statewide.
A new court ruling means those early voters can no longer spoil their ballot or cast a new one should they need to before Election Day.
The practice allows for early voters to cancel their ballot and then fill out a new one, only, of course, if the original hadn't been tabulated yet. We talked about this in the August primary. You might remember a number of Democratic Senate candidates dropped out to support Mandela Barnes last minute. If you had voted for one of the competitors, you were able to spoil your ballot and then vote for a different candidate still in the race. In the 2020 election, more than 30,000 people used this practice. To put that into perspective, President Biden only won Wisconsin by about 20,000 votes.
This is significant. Elections, I mean, look at what just occurred in Wauwatosa. Elections can be decided by one vote. It doesn't have to be tens of thousands of people. So I don't think any kind of change to how people vote should be minimized as inconsequential. There's always consequence, particularly in a swing state like Wisconsin, where elections can be decided by very small margins.
A Waukesha County court made that ruling earlier this month. It was upheld by an appeals court in the last few days here. The Election Commission now unanimously voting to rescind their guidance on spoiling your ballot.
Wisconsin voters will decide on dozens of school referendums next week. 9 districts in Dane County alone are asking for money. That includes Waunakee schools seeking a $175 million levy. District officials say enrollment is growing and soon they won't have the space for new students. That's why they hope Waunakee voters will say yes to the referendum. If it passes, a new Heritage Elementary School would be built on Woodland Drive in a more rural area. Once that's completed, the old school built in 1936 would be torn down, and in its place, the district would build a new middle school.
did consider breaking it into 2 smaller referendums that would be more every couple years coming back, and our board decided that this was our long-range plan. It really didn't change what the plan looked like as far as our 5-year vision.
Leaders say they recognize it's a lot of money to ask for, but want to emphasize it's going to take at least 5 years to complete. The district expects enrollment to increase by, get this, more than 1,000 students by 2035. They say the area's middle school is currently at capacity and uses portable classrooms to fit all of its students.
There's a simple tool to help you check your ballot for any school referenda or any other issues you can vote on Election Day. Head to My Vote Wisconsin, then type in your address. It's going to break down everything on your specific area ballot. Say you live off of Main Street in Sun Prairie. There you will be voting for a school referendum. If your UW student wants to vote, you can help them check that same website, My Vote Wisconsin. There you'll see their ballot will have the same statewide races, governor and Senate candidates, but their assembly district could be different. And of course, News 3 Now and Channel3000.com, your home for campaign 2022 news. For all the resources you need to inform your vote and have your voice heard, keep it here with us leading up to November 8th. 6:35 and happening today, Madison's Common Council will vote to approve a 3rd candidate for the city's independent police monitor position.
Our Shane Hogan is here with what we can expect at tonight's meeting. Shane?
Hey Josh, 3rd time's the charm. That's what the city of Madison is hoping for with its new candidate for the position of independent police monitor. The city's police civilian oversight board has named Robert Copley for the role. This comes after John Tate decided against taking the job back on October 18th. At tonight's meeting, the Common Council will finalize the contract, and if approved, Copley will earn slightly less than $122,000 per year. Copley was among the finalists for the job back in August before Tate was ultimately selected by the board. The position of independent police monitor was created by the Common Council in September of 2020 with the goal of overseeing the Madison Police Department's compliance with internal policies and procedures. If Copley gets approved tonight, he would begin his role as independent monitor on December 5th.
Shane Hogan with that preview. Thank you very much, Shane. New this morning, a 36-year-old man facing multiple charges for burglarizing a Middleton coffee shop last week.
Iya Vanagrov has pleaded not guilty to felony charges to burglary and criminal damage to property, as well as a misdemeanor charge of theft of movable property. Police say they were called to the Scooter's Coffee early Thursday morning, where they saw him climbing out of the drive-through window. When they arrested him a short distance away, they say he had fresh cuts consistent with that burglary.
To Verona now, new court documents describe a so-called prostitution house. A man is charged with running there. Verona police uncovered the operation, allegedly run by 58-year-old Michael Cotter, after seeing men leave and enter the house on Lucille Street. A criminal complaint says one of those men told police he had just paid a woman for sex and found the house using a website. He said he used a Cash App to pay the prostitute. Officers able to link that app account to Cotter. He received a $500 bond per charge Monday. He'll be back in court in December.
The Federal Trade Commission says millions of college students' personal information has been exposed because of a tech firm's lax security. The federal agency ordering the education technology provider Chegg to strengthen safeguards around its customers' data. Chegg's businesses include renting textbooks to students and scholarship search services. The FTC alleges the company failed to fix problems to secure the data it collects, even after it was hit with 4 breaches since 2017. The breaches threatened the sensitive information of approximately 40 million customers. That includes social security numbers, email addresses, and passwords. Time right now, 6:37. Live look outside. No issues out on the roadways, but we're tracking your first warn traffic. Julian Seawright also has a mild week of temperatures in his first warn forecast.
And fans disappointed in a scheduling change for the World Series. What pushed back games last night?
Plus, our October look back in the 608 as spooky season comes to a close.
He pushed tax loopholes benefiting himself. Send him back, and he'll make things worse. Ron Johnson would let Wisconsin ban abortion, even in cases of rape, and said if you don't like it, you can move. He voted to raise the retirement age and wants to end guaranteed spending on the Social Security you earned.
Social Security is a legal Ponzi scheme, but that's exactly what it is.
Ron Johnson, still making it harder on us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
The garage door is America's new front door.
So why not look at it in a whole new way? Let Precision's experienced designers come to you. Let us show you the difference a new Precision garage door can make.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first call, to your first sip, to your first soak. Culligan, give us a tap. The only water that comes with a van.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
I'm Rebecca, and you might know me from reality TV. And this was my stubborn body fat that I just couldn't get rid of. But then I went to Sono Bello, and they permanently removed my body fat in just one visit.
It is so intensely gratifying for one visit to make this big of a change. It's amazing.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently on your stomach, hips and thighs, back, and so much more.
It feels incredible to look down, and it's flat. Thank you again, Sono Bello. I'm so happy.
Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. Call 1-800-595-1532 or go to sonobello.com.
As political ads bombard you with campaign promises and claims to capture your vote, News 3 Now gives you a reality check, clarifying the candidates' messages and finding the facts to help you make informed choices. Reality Check, Wednesdays on News 3 Now at 6.
As Campaign 2022 approaches the finish line, News 3 Now presents a special midterm election preview.
We're spotlighting key races and issues, fact-checking candidates, and hearing the voices of voters in battleground Wisconsin.
Saturday at 7 p.m. on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now this morning.
Welcome back. Game 3 of the World Series gets underway today. Postponed today because of weather. Rain in Philadelphia meant the call was made about an hour before first pitch was supposed to happen last night. Because the rain was forecasted to get worse throughout the evening, the league didn't want to have to suspend it halfway through the game, opting instead to allow a full 9 innings to be played uninterrupted, hopefully tonight. Fans making their way to the stadium for the chance of a lifetime game were pretty disappointed with the outcome.
This just in, this night sucks.
So disappointing. But I got a business trip tomorrow.
That's the problem.
Right, so I can't go tomorrow. Life.
They should have had a plan in advance of, if you miss tonight, what's it going to be?
This just in, life.
Oh, those poor fans. I feel for them.
I know.
That's got to be an expensive cancellation. Hey, if everything goes according to plan, though, the next 3 games will take place tonight through Thursday in Philadelphia. First pitch this evening is at 7 p.m.
Hey, no rain here, just abundant sunshine in Julian Seawright's forecast. Julian?
Well, this just in, the weather doesn't suck. We're looking at plenty of sunshine. We can give credit to our producer, Shelby, for that one. Thank you, Shelby. But as we get into what we're going to be looking at, folks, it's going to be dry, it's going to be mild, and we're looking at sunshine to stick around for the next few days. So this is what we're going to see as we walk through waking up this morning. It's going to be relatively chilly, so you're going to need your light coat or jacket, but you can ditch it by the time we get into our lunchtime hour. We're looking at improvements into the lower mid-60s throughout much of southern Wisconsin, as we're still getting that southerly flow, which is going to keep things rather mild. Now, by the time we get into our early to late afternoon hours, we're going to see temperatures start to rise into the 70s, and then we're going to maintain the 60s throughout the course of our early evening hours and overnight. It's not going to be nearly as chilly as it's going to be for today, but once we get into our Wednesday morning, we're still looking at temperatures to be into the mid-50s or 40s, excuse me, as we're heading heading out the doors. Still a nice and chill, but we're going to be looking at the improvements once we get into our afternoon once again. Southerly winds going to be carrying in even more milder temperatures as we're going to be near the mid-70s for many areas by the time we get into our Wednesday afternoon and heading into our Wednesday evening as well. But we're still going to be holding on to plenty of sunshine until we get into about Thursday, where cloud cover is going to start to develop overnight. And as you're heading out the door, an even milder start, as we're going to see 50s once we get out the door for our Thursday morning. But outside of that, one thing we are going to be watching for is not just the sunshine and the mild weather that we're going to be dealing with for the next couple of days, but what we can expect going into our Friday. Rain chances and potentially even some thunderstorms will start to roll in for us as an opportunity as we get into our Friday afternoon and evening, especially transitioning into our Saturday morning as well. So we are looking for this weekend to be a bit of a super soaker for us, especially from Friday going into our Saturday and then starting to phase out by the time we get into our Sunday morning. So areas just west of Dane County could see the most significant rainfall totals from 3/4 to an inch, but even for us here in Dane County, could see about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch. But outside of that, the three things we'll need to know is that we're looking at mild and dry conditions throughout the next couple of days. It all changes once we get into our Thursday nights. We're going to see a potential rain shower starting to roll in and develop, and that's going to carry throughout our Friday, and a few thunderstorms are going to be possible, and now we're moving into our Saturday, and then we're looking for it to finally end going into Sunday. So enjoy the weather while we have it, because the 70s and sunshine is not going to last forever. So if you do have any Christmas decorations that you want to put up, the next couple of days are the days to do it. Then it's going to be breezy for Thursday, but Friday through Sunday, we are looking at rain chances to return. We are going to slide back to cooler weather, but also remember, as a reminder, we are going to be setting our clocks back 1 hour as daylight savings comes to an end once we get into our Saturday transition and Sunday morning, guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. 6:45 right now. We've reached a new month in the 608, the first day of November. But this morning, we're going to take a look back at some of the costume fun October brought us on News 3 Now this morning.
So we're in the 608 with some last-minute Halloween costume ideas when we come back.
What am I, guys? What am I? Take a guess.
Hawaiian Punch.
Oh my gosh, I'm proud of you guys. You got it. Look at that. Who am I, guys? Who am I? I got my 4 kids.
And
got
a six-pack has to be Chris Stanford.
Have you noticed I've been working out again?
Oh my gosh. Where is he? That was good.
That was pretty good, yeah. Dang it. Good thing I wore some slippery socks. That's perfect. We got it. Aaron goes all out in creating this masterpiece every year. And Aaron, this is just a beautiful display once again. This is the 2nd year that you're doing this here in Sun Prairie.
That's right, Josh. Thank you very much.
I didn't even see you blending in with the crowd. You're dressed in the part this morning, Aaron.
Yeah, I decided to kind of change it up and be dressed a little bit. Kind of a fun thing, a fun tradition to get into and to see people's faces. And the kids love it.
Every time we kind of ask for photos, especially with this one, I am so surprised by how many people submit their photos. I'm excited to see how many entries we get this year.
Live look at snacks moving across the room.
Those dogs are hilarious.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh.
Boy.
Hey, speaking of those dogs, that was part of the Halloween costume contest for Madison Magazine. Today is the last day, so if you have the photos from last night with the kiddos, the pups, send them in on channel3000.com. What a fun month. You got to see like my 7 different slide-ins there for Risky Business. Literally, I kid you not, I was practicing for 20 minutes because I wanted to get that right slide in, and I also didn't want to like topple and cartwheel into the rest of the costumes and create a ruckus. So.
It's important to say you make us laugh, you make us smile every single day in the 608, but you're also offering really valuable information for folks, whether it's an event or someplace to pick up a cheap Halloween costume. You're making our day, and you're also giving us some information to help us with our day, too.
Yeah, I'm always learning something new, and just meeting the people of our community that makes living here in the 608 so great is so special to me. So we are always your home for stories here, and we're going to continue doing it, so a lot to look forward to. Remember, with that, let me know what inspires you. You can reach out. There's my social media handle, @JoshBriderTV. Email in the 608 at WISC-TV.com. I'd love to hear any of those holiday traditions as we get into the Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, all that that stuff's coming up quickly here, folks. So please, let's get it on the schedule.
It's 6:48 now. You're taking a live look at Chicago. Coming up in the morning sprint, breaking news overnight from that city.
But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. We'll be right back.
This portion of News 3 Now is sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Warrens, Wisconsin.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
Don't miss the 33rd Annual Winter Art Fair off the Square, November 12th and 13th at the Monona Terrace Convention Center. Featuring over 100 Wisconsin exhibitors with a wonderful selection of ceramics, paintings, glass art, wood, jewelry, and much more. Place your bids at our silent auction Saturday only. Children will enjoy the Young Collectors Corner. Buy local for the holidays. The Winter Art Fair off the Square. Put it on your calendar today.
There will always be bumps in the road, but we got guts, America. We got freedom. We got power. We got future. So let's drive on and make the future we want to see together. Because your new Ford vehicle is just the start of a journey. So stop by your Ford dealer today and claim one of the thousands of new Ford trucks and SUVs on their way. We've been building this country for 119 years, but we're just getting started.
Over 800 convicted criminals released. 270 murderers and attempted murderers released. 44 child rapists released. Tony Evers' parole commission has released hundreds of violent criminals early, including some of the worst killers in Wisconsin history. Evers' liberal policies are making our communities less safe. Tony Evers put criminals first and our family's safety last.
Everyone's talking about the hit musical sensation Come From Away. It's a true story. Thousands of people stranded in a small town in Newfoundland on 9/11. And the locals, they opened up their homes. Come From Away, the Broadway musical that celebrates the best of humankind.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units, all units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
Free delivery, 18-month financing, low price guarantee, Brothers Main Appliance.
We're back at 6:51, time for the morning sprint.
We start with breaking news overnight, another mass shooting in the country, this one in Chicago. Police say up to 13 people shot. Luckily, no fatalities reported yet this morning. The shooting happened on the city's west side. Among those hit were a 3-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 13-year-old. Investigators say surveillance camera video showed at least 1 car and 2 shooters. One person was hit by a car during all of this. The 14 injuries range from non-life-threatening to critical. And breaking news out of Texas, a deadly shooting involving a rap group in Houston. This shooting took place outside of a bowling alley that had been hosting a private party for members of the group Migos. News crews in Houston say officers won't confirm whether the man killed belongs to the group. TMZ, however, reporting one of the members has died. Police describing that victim as a man in his late 20s. His identity won't be released until a medical examiner provides more information.
The man accused of breaking into the San Francisco home of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and beating her husband Paul with a hammer will be in court later today. David DePop has been charged with assault and kidnapping. CBS News is learning DePop had a bag containing zip ties and duct tape and shouted, "Where's Nancy?" when he entered the home. Pelosi is recovering from a skull fracture and injuries to his arm and hands.
Darrell Brooks will learn his sentence in a little over 2 weeks on November 15th and 16th. Prosecutors say dozens of victims and their families wish to speak during sentencing. That could mean the process would take several extra hours. He was back in a courtroom yesterday, 5 days after a jury found him guilty on all 76 counts. Those stemmed, of course, from last November's Waukesha Christmas parade attack.
Senator Ron Johnson is on a statewide bus tour in the closing stretch of the Senate's state U.S. Senate race. The tour goes through next Monday, the day before the midterm election. Making stops yesterday in Portage, Mauston, and Dodgeville, he met with supporters and believes his Senate experience gives him an edge in the race against Mandela Barnes.
The Milwaukee Bucks, the only undefeated team left in the league this season. Drew Holiday ending the night with a three-pointer, getting the Bucks the 110-108 win. That improves their streak to 6-0. They're going to take on the Pistons again tomorrow night in Milwaukee at 7 p.m.
After an impressive week, Wisconsin volleyball is getting rewarded twofold. Sarah Franklin, the Big Ten Co-Player of the Week after posting a match-high 21 kills in the sweep of #1 Nebraska. With the Badgers beating two top 10 opponents, they now move up in the rankings, now third for Wisconsin in the ABCA top 25 poll. The Badgers hit the road Thursday for a match against Illinois.
Lots of happy trick-or-treaters with full bellies and buckets this morning after stopping by the White House last night. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden doled out candy to kiddos for Halloween. It's the first time the Bidens have welcomed trick-or-treaters to the White House. They were in Europe last Halloween. Some 5,000 trick-or-treaters stopped by.
Do you have a full belly too?
You better believe it.
A special Halloween visit by the Madison Police Department to the American Family Children's Hospital. Officers dressing up in superhero costumes, forming a parade for the kids as they passed out stuffed animals along with other treats. Participating officers say it was a great way to provide every child in the community with an opportunity to celebrate the beloved holiday.
2 American college students among the more than 150 victims who died in a stampede at a Halloween celebration in Seoul, South Korea. The country's national police have apologized for not assigning enough officers to the massive party. It drew tens of thousands of people to the city's bar district. South Korea's president declared this week a week of mourning.
Taylor Swift making history this week. The pop star is on the Billboard Top 100 list in all top 10 spots. It is the first time an artist has occupied all 10 spots and the first time no male artist has been on the list. Her single Anti-Hero leads the string of hits from her just-released album Midnights. In fact, all 13 of the songs on Midnights are in the chart's top 15.
Delta airline pilots could soon be going on strike. An Airline Pilots Association union vote had 99% of pilots authorizing that strike to get a new contract. The pilots say they're working with an outdated contract, an 8-year-old one from 2016. There was a strike. It wouldn't happen until after the Thanksgiving travel surge.
And closing things out for us from the weather world, well, we are looking at the next few days to be in the 70s. Plenty of dry conditions as well, but we are looking for developments of not only cloud cover, but for shower potential as we get into our Thursday nights leading into our Friday, where we could start to see some thunderstorms as well. Now, as we take a look at what we're seeing in our 10-day forecast, not only are we looking at thunderstorms, but cooler air is on the way. And also as a reminder, don't forget, we are setting back our clocks 1 hour going in from Saturday nights into our Sunday morning.
All right, Julian, thank you. And thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll leave you with a live look outside. Beautiful shot of that sunrise on this Tuesday, November 1st. Make it a great day. We're back with an update at 7:26.